Welcome to my Hollywood. From AB6IX. They will forever be known as AB6IX. What's up, everyone? It's Nate from Truly Daebak with another episode of the DaebakCast. This is episode 122. We're getting to, I don't know, some milestone. I mean, 120 is maybe kind of a milestone.
150?
I don't know. 125? Who knows? 150 is definitely a thing.
When are we gonna hit 150?
like 28 weeks. So, end of the year-ish.
Yeah, so it's close to the end of the year, essentially. So,
yep. So if you don't know what Truly Daebak or the DaebakCast are, we are a podcast and a YouTube channel that discusses K-pop and Korean entertainment industry. Sometimes we talk about dramas or variety shows or whatever, or just general politics occasionally. Yeah, or being in Korea and Japan. But yeah, if you like the show, check us out on YouTube, or we also are on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. And not SoundCloud. Anymore. No, what did I miss? What's the one I missed? Spotify. I get Spotify and SoundCloud mixed up because we used to be on SoundCloud and we left SoundCloud to be put on Spotify.
Yep.
We're on Spotify now. Review us on iTunes, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz, and especially join our Discord. It's mucho lit. If you want to talk to us, that's definitely the best way to talk to us. We're always in there talking about K-pop or random other stuff like gaming. We have channels for everything. So if you want to talk to us about literally anything, that's the way to do it.
Nate can ban you for your IOI opinions.
Yeah, I'll ban
stuff.
Yeah, it's great. We do fun stuff like song ratings. We did IOI song rate, and I kicked someone because they gave Get It a 0. And that's the worst opinion I've ever seen.
Cooper for giving.
I unmodded Cooper for giving. Yeah, very, very, very a 3 out of 10. Because that's a travesty. So yeah, it's all fun though. As always, usually there's 3 of us, Jacob at school. But as always, I'm joined by Andrew, who usually has 3 things.
Pretty hectic weekend this week. First, today we've got some wrestling history, quote unquote, to be made. So basically, the WWE is like the only like big company now. But then, basically, these other wrestlers that were wrestling in Japan, Cody Rhodes, who's the son of a really big wrestler named Dusty Rhodes, rest in peace. He basically partnered with the owners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just have like a god-awful ton of money, and they're like, let's just make a wrestling company like out of the blue, basically. So they're having their first pay-per-view tonight, so that's actually going to be pretty exciting. Like, if you were watching like wrestling in the 90s, there was this thing called the Monday Night Wars, where basically it's just like back and forth between WCW and WWF.
Right?
Yeah, so everyone's kind of feeling it might be like that again, so pretty exciting. Also, like, this is a really it's Memorial Day weekend, so it's always a really great weekend in like motorsports, because tomorrow it's the F1 Monaco Grand Prix, and then the Indy 500, and then the Coke 600 all in one day. Like, there's actually people that have done the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, which is the NASCAR race, like in the same day before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, it's super hard because like you're probably dead, but like sitting in a car for like 5 hours, and then later that night sitting in a car again for like another like 3 or 4 hours is just insane. So like, people have only rarely do it, and it like the last time was like 5 or 6 years ago, but it's always a really cool like weekend to watch, especially with Monaco, because like the nice thing is the winner of Monaco calls the winner of Indy, and the winner of Indy calls the winner of the Coke 600 to like congratulate them and everything. So that's been like a sort of tradition.
If the guy who did both won both?
That's never gonna happen.
To call himself.
Like, for you to be that good at like open car racing and like NASCAR is just insane. Like, you'd be like a prodigy for that to happen.
Also, if you watch Monaco, you might get to see Iron Man fight Whiplash.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's pretty much the only thing I remember from Iron Man 2 is that he just randomly enters the freaking Tony Stark randomly enters the Monaco GP, and then he pulls out the Iron Man suit because he's getting attacked. He just gets whiplash.
Well, whiplash cuts his car in half.
Yeah, something like that. So I was gonna rewatch all of them after after Endgame, so I'll get to remember more of the plot of that movie. Speaking of I guess pop culture stuff. Pretty interesting thing happened last week. I don't know if you've heard of a show called Game of Thrones, but had its finale. Some people were happy. Some people were not very happy.
You don't even watch it.
I mean, I'm just
bringing up in your things. It's too big of a thing to ignore.
Yeah, it's too big of a thing to ignore. At this point, I'm just lazy. I'll probably rewatch it at some point, but I just looked up the synopsis.
Even with the disappointing ending,
it's at least we're getting closure. At least they're not doing The Walking Dead where it ended. We get an ending.
I'm not as mad as other people because it's so hard to end a show like that, in a way that people would enjoy,
yeah.
And be happy with I don't know. It's weird. It would be impossible to make everyone happy with an ending, basically,
because everyone wants a different person to win the Iron Throne. So, people are gonna be.
It was rushed. It really should have been 10 seasons. George R.R. Martin said that they should have done 10 seasons, and for some reason, people are thinking that D&D, the writers, ended it because of the Star Wars thing.
Yeah, because they're doing a trilogy
they wanted
for Star
to make
Wars.
Sure that they were done before they did the trilogy for Star Wars. Didn't want to pass up on that or whatever, which sucks because it really should have been 10 seasons. But
we're never gonna get a finite ending with a book at this point. So
yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it. It just felt wrong. It didn't match the tone of the rest of the show, basically. But they'd kind of been leaning towards that more and more the further and further away they got from the books. So, that's not.
I'm sure I'll enjoy it enough.
I could do a whole podcast on this.
Yeah,
so
I could do a whole entire podcast just on it. But I mean, again, just be glad we're getting an ending. Yeah, be glad we're getting an ending. They're not doing a Walking Dead where they're just the lead character left. Let's just keep going because we make a lot of money off this. Be happy the's a finite ending, and that's what you have to say about most HBO shows.
Plus, now we'll get spin-offs without D&D writing, but with the HBO quality of money and stuff. Yeah. So, which is one thing that maintained through the entire series was cinematography, all that type stuff, just everything. It looked insanely good. The production of it was insane. It was just the writing that was bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can always fix that. So that's my 3 things. I don't think there's anything else to announce necessarily, other than just go watch.
Cast.
Yeah, Produce Cast is doing pretty well. We got over 1,000 views in a day, so that's bonkers numbers for us. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go check that out.
Yep. I guess we'll move straight into topic 1, the happy, fun topic.
Yes, the thing that's been sitting on my computer screen this whole time here.
Yeah, happy, fun topic. So I don't know. I guess you have material up if you want to go, or you want me to start with the heartfelt.
I'm just letting you rant at Pledis this entire topic. I'll intro it since I have all this
You'll
stuff.
You'll just interject. Okay, so yeah, basically, if you haven't heard, Pristin disbanded. Pristin, if you don't know, was a 10-member girl group from Pledis. And if you're a new K-pop fan, you wouldn't know who they are because they haven't put out anything in 2 years.
Yep.
So basically, they were an IOI branch. So after Produce 101, season 1, I think 7 of the 10 of them were on the show.
Yeah.
And 2 members made it into IOI, Nayoung Kyokung. So they were in IOI, and while IOI was happening, Pledis, obviously they planned on all these girls being a girl group. They put 7 members into the show, and they were very clearly trained together and ready.
Yeah.
So while Nayoung and Kyokung were doing IOI, which only lasted 9 months anyway, they did pre-debut activities as Pledis girls. They put out a single. And they did kind of an AKB thing where they did weekly concerts, while they were doing pre-debut. So you could actually go see pre-debut Pristin as Pledis girls once a week if you wanted to. which was a really good idea because it built up a really good fan base.
Yeah,
and then on top
it's like a more advanced version, because you see a lot of people like busking like in like the middle of like
yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
So it's like a more advanced version of that.
Yeah,
like
Pledis just had the money to actually rent out a like small auditorium and do it inside and invite people. So yeah, then and then on top of that, you get the IOI fans that carry over from IOI. So yeah, after that they put out Wee Woo as their debut, and then like 6 months later, I want to say, they put out We Like. So this was 2017. Both were in 2017, like early and late 2017.
And they both did, or at least with,
and they both did
well, especially Wee Woo.
Yeah,
like that one has
Wee Woo did
numbers.
really, really well. We Like did really well for a new girl group too. It didn't hit the full numbers of We Like or Wee Woo.
Or Wee Woo.
Yeah, here let me look up. I'm gonna type for a second.
Well, I mean, as of now, like Wee Woo has like 31 million, and like
31.
We Like has
And
like
it's 14.
like 15. Yeah, something like basically about like half. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's after this point. So like usually like when you're talking about Nugu, like after like 2 years, some of them don't even have like 5 million views for their most popular music videos.
Most of like even like other IOI branches, like Gugudan, I saw when we were doing the rating, A Girl Like Me had like 9.9 million, so it was like really close to 10, but that's been out for 2 years. Like
yeah, so when you're talking about, especially with like IOI branches or people that are coming out of IOI, I mean, probably the only person that probably beat them would probably be like Chungha. That's probably the only one.
No, yeah, Chungha.
Some Uju Son.
Now Uju. If you look at actual sales, because we were looking at this earlier anyway.
Yeah, just
really Chungha, who's been declining. Well, it's kind of cheating because Why Don't You Know has like 1 million sales, but I think that was like digital and stuff. Okay. Where usually it's just tracked physical, I think. But then, Uju Sonyo is growing. Like Uju Sonyo is the only group that is like. Uju Sonyo and Chungha are the ones who've like found their niche and are actually like maintaining and growing.
Meanwhile,
the rest of them are just falling off a cliff. Like Gugudan and Wikimiki are falling off a cliff in terms of sales. And then I think Daya is doing okay, but they're just maintaining a very small fan base. Like it's very much lower compared to like Chungha and Uju Sonyo.
God, how the hell did Daya outlive freaking Pristin?
No, that's literally what I said. I was like, if you asked me at the end of 2017 which group would disband first, Pristin would have been last on my list, and Daya easily would have been first.
Because you have like if you don't like, Nayoung is the leader of freaking, or like she's like the leader of IOI, and then Kyokyoung is they have super popular members of IOI that are in this group. Most of the members had exposure on the show, so that's like a built-in fan base right there. Yeah. So the thought, and granted, I guess Daya was the same thing. Like Daya literally existed as a group, but
but they existed as a group before the show with no fans.
Yeah,
and then got on the show to gain fans. And like where this was a new group, they're like, we're gonna put you out there, you're gonna get tons of exposure, so you get a bunch of fans right away.
And I'm guessing, like, again, I still haven't gone back to watch season 1, but I'm pretty much the only person they gave a shit about was like Cheon. Cheon was probably
Kathy did really well.
Oh, Kathy probably
And those are the only 2 members that were on.
Because she was on like rap. She was on
Pretty Rap Star.
Yeah, so she's on. So she's had some like screen time, time before.
Those were the only 2 members from Daya that were on the show.
Yeah, so like literally, no one else is like,
but they both
known quantities.
Yeah, but they did well there. But yeah, like they debuted with like bang, and then they were both within 2017, and then we didn't hear anything for like 8 months, and then we got Pristin V, which is a subunit, out of nowhere pretty much. And that did not do great. I don't know how it did in sales. The music videos are really low.
It's only at like 6 million right now. Which is,
no. Okay. Good. Oh, no.
It's all right.
No, this did really well. On their official channel, they have 17 million.
Oh shit! What?
So it has more views than we like.
That might be international fans, though. I feel that's sort of like the
problem.
That's sort of the like the catch-22 of doing a song like that is, it's a cool style, but a lot of people in Korea don't necessarily gravitate towards.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't really know.
Unless you're like
the sales.
YG or like, I don't know, like unless you're like Big Three, like it's not really gonna find an audience over there. Essentially, unfortunately, because I freaking Get It is a god tier song. Essentially, it's amazing. Like it was one of your favorite songs of 2018, if I remember correctly.
Well, I think it's one of my top 10 K-pop songs of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and pretty much like in the aftermath of Pristin V, is like, ooh, I can't wait to like till Pristin comes back and like we could see something like this, like with the main group or whatever. Like there's a lot of like,
and also like
it
was pretty clear they set up like Pristin H2 because Pristin V was supposed to stand for villains. And they took like the older, more like girl crush mature members, and like all the cuter younger members were left over. So it was like pretty clear they were setting up Pristin H, like Pristin Heroes, and they would do like a more fun, cuter song probably.
Yeah. And
that just never happened. And all the while during this, there's a ton of drama with Kyla. Like she got hate on a lot from during the entire span of the stuff for just being like considered overweight or like because she wasn't super skinny, like idol level skinny.
Basically
she got a lot of hate.
Basically.
And she's only like
being.
15, so she kind of like
part.
She's growing and needs to like not be malnourished.
Like she hasn't graduated high school yet. That's how young she is. Like even now. So that was all happening like even before all this. So and she like basically left Korea and went back to the US, and like people were spotting her in California and stuff. So like everyone knew she. That whole thing where she's working at like a carnival or something.
Yeah,
like that.
she was. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
it was weird.
like yeah. I mean, I guess like literally nothing else to do, or just like trying to make money.
You need a job or whatever.
Yeah, because like, you literally. Well, granted, like idols are pretty broke, like until like their third or fourth year, essentially.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, it's nothing compared. Like trying to like support yourself on your own is nothing compared to like.
Oh, I'm sure she went back home.
Yeah, like literally going back
still,
home
like,
and everything. So.
Growing up, you're gonna want a job, like job experience and stuff like.
Yeah, because that must be
like,
an interesting. That must have been an interesting interview. It's like, what's your prior job experience? I was an idol in Korea.
yeah, exactly.
Does that make you qualified enough to work at a carnival? I don't know.
I don't know if carnivals require any qualification at all.
Yeah.
Usual people working at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there is that going on, and it's just like Pledis is not known for doing well with girl groups. After School did really well for a long time, and then just kind of like faded into non-existence, like out of nowhere. Like Pledis, after 17 happened, Pledis just stopped doing anything with After School. Like After School still isn't disbanded somehow, even though they're not officially disbanded. I've never seen news that said After School disbands, but members have left for years now, like literally years.
And in a similar way, before. Again, it's weird to think of New West as like struggling, but before Produce 101 Season 2, that was a dead group, or they were DOA essentially.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't. Yeah,
exactly.
They weren't. Their sales were mediocre compared to. Again, that's the thing. That was the rough part of them going on Produce 101 Season 2 is that literally this group they're the seniors to. 17 and they could never like they never outsold them whatsoever.
They had
and I mean like after a certain
recognition.
point, just Pledis just gave up and it's like fine, we'll throw you on this like free for all of a show.
Well, yeah, it's pretty clear that Pledis before 17, Pledis could only really manage one group. They had After School and they had Newest, and they completely like not abused, but like abandoned Newest. Neglected is the word I was looking for. Neglected Newest, and because After School did well, and Newest never went anywhere. And then 17 happened, and they kind of blew up themselves, and they do a lot of self-production, and like they kind of, I feel like
17
handled
like
themselves more.
They're a well-oiled machine at this point. Like Pledis probably doesn't do shit when it comes. They're just like, do you want to? We're making a comeback, and they're like probably like okay, like the people at Pledis just find out that they're like doing new music at some point or another.
So 17 came out and they just dropped after school and focused everything on 17. And I think post 17 they can definitely handle at least multiple groups just because they've gotten a lot bigger because of 17.
Huge.
Yeah, and like we said, I feel like 17 probably handles themselves pretty well. So yeah, it made sense, like, okay, we're gonna try a new girl group. Like we have 17, we want to have the female 17. They
essentially.
Pristin self-produced their songs. Yeah. All of their albums said self-production. Like most of the songs I think have self-production credits. And like, so yeah, it was like clear they wanted a new 17 girl group or whatever. But then yeah, they still couldn't support another group. They just completely screwed this group over that had so much potential, and like it doesn't make any sense. Like, so there's two things I think happened. One, I think something happened with the girls themselves, like between the girls themselves. Like, I mean, it's possible. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Or we'll never know
because nobody will ever put, like, especially in Korea, no one's gonna put.
Well, I think Kylo might.
But Kylo might. Kylo gives
be a
no
little
fucks.
bit.
Yeah, I love Kylo. So.
But like, I don't know. I never got that vibe. I mean, you never know behind the scenes what their real relationship is. All idols are putting on acts for you. Like, but then one of the other like ideas I had is after how they treated Kyla, the other members just said like fuck you.
Yeah, basically, maybe
like decided we don't, if Kyla's not here, we're not going to do this, and like kind of stood behind her was the other thing I'm thinking, and that kind of just like screwed them over, and like that's possible. It also might not happen, might not make sense because Pristin V did happen after Kyla left, but I don't know. There's something went on behind the scenes. Like I don't believe Pledis is that incompetent to just let this group that they invested all this money into fall apart.
And remember, like, guys, at the end of the day, it's a business. So if you're paying all these people, you might as well use them. This is exactly like our talking points when people put all the freaking Post-it notes all over over the windows and everything. Like you're paying them, they're employees. You might as well make money off them, right? So
yeah, and they did well. Like it financially doesn't make sense to just leave them for dead for no reason.
I don't know.
So I think something had to have happened. Who knows if we'll find out.
Another sort of pervasive idea or theory is that because Pledis actually, like, off the record isn't like apparently like an actual like its own like thing. So it's basically just like Stone Music Entertainment and Pledis like managing From His 9 and Eyes 1, because I'm pretty sure like Pledis is the one. Yeah, they practice at Pledis's like facilities. They like they work with like trainers from Pledis.
Off the record is owned by Stone. That's subsidiary Stone. But because Stone Music is Lowen. They really don't train a lot of people. They like Lowen had IU, and like that was like their only big artist, and she's one artist, like one person.
Stone Music Entertainment is like one of the billion subsidiaries of like CJ or whatever.
But then they like became CJ and stuff. But like the thing is, like that company itself like didn't have like the training capacity, I think, for like large groups.
Like groups like this, yeah.
So they work
like most of their stuff is like Stone Music Entertainment's like Haze, where she's like doing her stuff on her own. Like they mostly work with like individual idols. They don't do groups for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of groups that post their like because of distribution, like whatever. A lot of like if you look on the Stone Music YouTube channel, there's a lot of groups on there, but most of them aren't done by Stone Music internally. Like Stone Music's basically just like a glorified like distribution service with some idols at this point. They don't really have the I don't think they have the infrastructure comparative to like a company like a Pledis, like I mean, because with every time there's been an IO or a produce group, they've always handed it off to a different company. Like for for IOI, it was MBK.
No, not MBK. It was what was Jesse's company?
Yeah,
and A.C.E. Ailey and Jesse. It's why can't I think of it? It's a garbage company.
YMC.
YMC, that's right. And they like completely screwed IOI over.
So they didn't go back to the YMC.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it doesn't seem like they want someone else to like handle like that training and logistics aspect of it, which is why I get that they're doing it with Pledis. So
yep.
The theory or like the thinking is that because From is doing pretty well, pretty popular, and IZ*ONE's just a monster at this point in Korea. Like Pristin kind of became a redundancy essentially, where it's why are we focusing our time and effort into this like fledgling girl group that no one cares about, unfortunately, when you have IZ*ONE. Like it's no contest, unfortunately, but that might have something to do with it. And then I think that
100%. Like that was one of my other talking points. Was I think Frumis and IZ*ONE definitely had a part to play in this. Which sucks. Like that they have to. Like, well, no, I'm not blaming them. I don't think.
No, a lot of people are, unfortunately. A lot of people are blaming like 17 or IZ*ONE.
Those people are dumb.
Granted,
blaming the actual group is
they have nothing to do with it. Or some people are the other way around, where it's like Pristin are absolute flops compared to 17 and New West and From Islam. I'm just like, people are crazy. Like they did well.
People are dumb. Yeah. But yeah, they think they 100%. Like the fact that Pledis also had to help manage those two groups is definitely. Did they help? They didn't help with 101 though, did they? That was
101, I believe, was
because
also
101
YMC.
had their.
They made their own.
They had a different
label.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was when they made Off the Record.
Or no, they made Swing Entertainment, which is for 101.
Or they made Swing. That's right. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a multitude of problems here, and really, for me, it didn't like it sucks because Pristin was my number one IOI branch, and I'm a huge IOI fan. Like I loved Pristin so much.
You were the IOI master.
They're my highest rated group out of any group we've ever rated because I gave all of their singles a 10 and Get It an 11. So their average is 10.2.
Yeah.
But like this was I was prepared for this for like literally a year now. Like ever since after Get It, we got nothing. And we were getting like no V-Lives, we were getting no updates, we were getting no information. Kyla was in America, Kyokyung was doing tons of stuff in China,
and being like pretty successful at
it too.
Being
very successful. Yeah, I knew even if we did get a Pristin comeback, I had a feeling it was going to be a Uju Sonyo situation where Kyokyung just stayed in China and kept doing Chinese. Even though she's not part of a separate company. I think they would probably just want her to be there making money.
Yep, making money, yeah. One of the few things that can make money, unfortunately. Which I'm 100% sure that's why Kyokyung ended up re-signing her contract. Yeah, so here in the article, it says Nayoung Roa, Yuha, Onwoo, Rena, Xion, and Kyla terminated their contracts, and Kyokyung, Yehana, and Sungyeon are staying. I don't know why Yehana and Sungyeon ended up staying. So what the hell are they going to do there?
My theory is Sungyeon she was the main one who produced for them, so I wouldn't be surprised if she stays and just produces.
What I'm afraid of is what if they just let you're producing for the next girl group that we do.
No, that's what I think. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what she wanted. She probably was sick of this and was like, I'll rather just be solo ballad because she's their lead vocalist and she's really good at it. And she's like really good at ballads. Go watch Girl Spirit. Second week in a row that I'm because she was on that.
Wait, this is like 2 days in a row. You're saying freaking go watch Girl Spirit.
Her performance of Desperado is one of the best performances I've seen from a K-pop artist. But Yehana, I have no idea what she's gonna do. She was like one of the least popular members and wasn't really
I don't know. I mean, hey, cash that paycheck, I guess.
They were all talented and Yehana's great, but she wasn't I don't know, maybe she's gonna act or something, maybe who knows, maybe she'll just be in the new girl group. Maybe they said hey, we'll put you in the new girl group.
Speaking of
if there is a new girl group,
because what I was seeing on the internet, or
I mean, we have Kieran Jan.
Yeah, we got the Kittens, but another thing that I discovered was apparently in Pledis's auditions, they're literally only asking for male like trainee, like basically they're not asking for females at all, and unless they're like hiding some, they've been hiding some like this whole time, like I don't know. Besides, like if they're hiding anyone besides, like if there's anyone locked inside the Pledis dungeon besides like people that like they're actually debuted in Pristin, like I don't know, but yeah, maybe we don't get another girl group in this case. Maybe they're just done with
possible.
Girl group. Yeah, that's the thing. They might just be done with girl groups all together and just be like, we're just gonna cash all this money in on friggin' 17, and like they print money at this point. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with so people that aren't familiar with the term Kirin-chan or the Kirins. From Produce 48, Ikawan and Ho Yun-jin, like super popular, like both made it to like the finale and everything. Khan should have been in freaking Eyes One, God, not One.
Eyes One.
So like a lot of popularity. Obviously, Khan was formerly in After School. They don't have plans for them at this point. Like literally,
Khan
like
is
they
still in After School. Okay.
They're just gonna relaunch After School, and it's just
I mean, that was the whole point of After School was members graduated, and it.
But there's no point if everyone graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no the graduation system goes out the window when everyone graduates.
Wait, did they actually? According to Pledis's wiki page, it says till 2019. Oh, they did disband. When did they disband? Oh, okay. No. So this is the same thing that we knew for a long time ago. Apparently, 10 days ago, Lizzie mentioned that they unofficially disbanded. So it still isn't official. I was right. They've never officially disbanded.
Just put them out of their misery at this point. Seriously.
Well, because they only have like 2 members or whatever.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm interested in seeing what they'll do with Khan and Ho Yun-jin. Like it's funny because I was looking on because Khan started like posting on Instagram like recently, and like all her comments are like, "Leave Pledis, they're gonna trap you in the dungeon." Like no one wants to see her. And she probably knows it better than anyone else because again she was there at the tail end of After School, like. She's been here all this time when not getting a push, which is why they threw her onto, like, she's, 26, 27 now? Or
she joined
after 24, 20. She's, like, almost my age, like, and she's, she just got thrown on freaking Produce 48 because they had no idea what to do with her, so and I'm kind of worried that we're almost, like, a year after, like, Produce 48 started airing and they still have not done anything with them. I haven't even seen anything from
I think Pledis is probably just done with girls. If like you said that their auditions don't mention female trainees at all, then like they're probably just like it's never been worth it for them. Screw it.
And I mean, from a business standpoint,
both After School and Pristin were great, but guy groups are always going to make more money.
Yeah, from a business standpoint, it's better to put your money into a boy group because even a middling boy group is going to have a ton of dedicated fans.
A middling boy group will make way more than pretty much any but like the biggest girl groups. Yeah,
like the disparity between like success or like financial success between like the biggest girl groups and like the like medium or like lesser like new group like girl groups, it's staggering. So from financial standpoint,
you have to be Twice or Blackpink or to make Red money Velvet, or like for it to be worth it. So like even the next tier down that's doing okay is not making a ton.
So I mean, what do you think will happen to like the members? I guess just to close off the topic.
I don't know. Our dream, like always with all disbanded groups now, is that A.C.E becomes their savior, saves Pristin.
Yeah, A.C.E
gets the 7 members.
That'd be a lit group. Like if you just take all the 7. I mean, Kyla's probably done as an idol, but if you like 6 of them,
exactly. Like even just the 6 of them, like it. Like that would be cool to see. I don't know if it'll happen. I think if A.C.E wants to, he could easily do it.
He can do it like the staff.
If they wanted to stay in a group and he wanted to sign them, I think that would be the easiest decision for all
no,
of them.
No one would say no
make.
to Psy. No, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
No one, like
you're not
that's
gonna,
like you're on a rocket to the
that
moon.
would be
if
their
you have
best option.
Yeah, you're on a rocket to the moon if you have anything to do with Psy at this point.
Yeah. So
like, I said in Discord, like Psy should just become the THQ Nordic of K-pop.
Yeah.
Just sign everyone.
Dead IPs and hope
they'll just like
that's why I said if Psy signs them and recreates Pristin, I will invest in his company, and then I will find a way. I don't know if it's publicly traded, but I will find a way to invest in Psy's company, and then eventually I just need to become the majority shareholder, and I turn it into IY Entertainment because he already starts it for me.
Yeah, he did all the hard work for you, so on my end,
he left YG, so he can get Somi out of YG.
Yeah. On my end, I really don't know what's gonna happen with these girls. In all honesty, I'd like to. Obviously, I wish the best for them, especially for, like Nayoung had to go through 2 disbandments. She's a rookie of the year. She's a leader. Yeah, and twice.
Yeah, and she was also the leader of both of those groups. Yeah.
Yeah. So for her to go through this
groups.
twice, like, that sucks. Like you wouldn't wish that on anyone, in all honesty. And I think because like the stages of grief, like you're at like the first, like you're in like the denial, anger, like you're in acceptance already right now.
I've been in acceptance for forever.
I'm in the bargaining stage where I'm just like, I would rather you throw them on like the next girls season of Produce.
That's what I was gonna say. Like if they don't stay as a group, and they split up and just go to random companies, I 100% guarantee at least 1 or 2 of them is on the next season of Produce.
But
like,
imagine Nayoung being on Produce again after making the final.
I don't know if Nayoung or Kyokung. Well, Kyokung is staying with Pledis and is going to be doing stuff in China. I don't think Nayoung would, but I wouldn't be surprised to see like Unwoo or Reina or someone if they go to like a smaller company, because that smaller company you're like almost guaranteed to make the group. Like, I feel like it would be a win for a smaller company to do that.
Yeah.
It depends on where they go and what they're doing, and what they want, obviously. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of them on the next season of Produce if they stay in the industry.
So I guess just closing thoughts. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I'm kind of like I was kind of expecting.
Yeah, you were angry.
I was angry just because like this whole situation's just been bullshit, and also maybe I think CLC
you got your
in the
hope
dungeon,
up.
Yeah, like and then exiting the dungeon kind of got my hopes up. And I mean, I'm saying this as someone that hasn't necessarily been in love with all of Pristin's music necessarily. It's just there's way too much. Like, this is probably like when you look at like a textbook definition of like wasted potential, I think Pristin probably takes the cake in terms of in terms of like popularity, there's like appeal, and actual like good music. Like they had all 3, and for it to end, it's on such a whimper. Like, you don't even get a goodbye single or anything like this, or just even, and they didn't even have a last chance to like release music as a group. Like for it to go down like this is just, it feels really like really bitter. Like in this sort of way.
The last song they put out as a group was a year and a half ago,
and
over a year and a half ago.
Yeah, so and like you wouldn't think, like usually there have been plenty of groups for like new goos from smaller companies that they only put out music in like their first year and then just disappear off the face of the earth. You wouldn't think something of that from a company that makes as much money as Pledis, but
and a group that did this well, like those groups that happens to, they get like 100,000 views on their music video
at most. Like sometimes
sell like 100 copies.
Yeah, so
Pristin sold some of the best for a girl group that isn't a big 3.
Yeah,
and has like huge music video views.
So hopefully it serves as kind of like a, I don't know, just like a cautionary tale for the companies that'll handle A.C.E members in the aftermath of whenever they end up disbanding. Basically, just don't end up being like Pledis. Essentially, just you have to. It's not that hard. In all honesty, just treat them right. Yeah.
Starship, don't be like Pledis.
Yep. And I don't think.
But I don't think they will be like.
No. Well, we said that. We said that before. We said
that's
that before.
True. But I mean, Starship Starship's shown, like, Starship can definitely handle multiple groups. They've done it for a long time.
They
Sistar, Monsta X, like,
Ujusonyo,
now Ujusonyo is like, so yeah, they kill it with solo artists. So I don't think I think like Wan Young in being like one of the most popular people in the whole show and IZ*ONE, like, her group's pretty set. And I think Woolham's probably been ready to put out a new girl group for a long time.
I mean, they are. They are technically, because they're putting out the one with Takashi Jury. It's just I don't know what they're gonna do. Yeah,
exactly.
With,
I think they'll Umbi and Jaewon will be in that. Jaewon will be in that group. Also, my dream is that. Well, my dream is that Starship signs Nako, but I would be okay if Woolham signed Nako too.
Nako, please.
You said it in your own words that their popularity is going to be gone by the time they're done.
Maybe. We'll see.
You said that when we were in Japan at the concert. You're like,
at this point though, like, they might with the like the state that like AKB48 group is in. Yeah, maybe they might need something like Sakura and Nako coming back, but that's for another podcast.
Yeah, that's a different topic. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Pristin disbanding? Do you hate it? Do you want to like throw a rock through Pledis's window or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you want to write an angry worded letter to I tweeted at Pledis. I mean, they're probably not gonna fucking read that shit. I said a brain dead squirrel could probably run a freaking girl group better than Pledis has. Like, at this point, like, it's no contest at this point. So definitely you can vent your thoughts, your angry thoughts in the comments below. You can give your best memories of Pristin, what were your favorite songs, all that stuff. Definitely leave us your thoughts in the comments.
Yep. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Fuck Pledis.
Fuck Pledis, indeed. I don't know how I didn't say that whole time. Okay, topic 2. We're getting into reviews for the rest of the episode. And this is our first review of the day. We have A.C.E new mini album Undercover. Did you see my message about covering 5-star?
Oh, I missed it.
You missed it? Okay, because there is an album only track. And I said that if it changes your score to check it out.
It probably won't change my score much in all honesty.
It's a ballad. It's a good ballad, but it's not like a blow you away ballad, so it probably wouldn't affect the score that much. It's just it's a solid ballad. But we'll get there. I have a little bit more notes on it, but I think everyone else missed the fact that, because it's not on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's album only, so I just looked it up on YouTube. But yeah, okay, we'll start out with, or wait, who's reading this? Am I reading this, I guess?
You'll read, yeah, you can read this. I'll read the last two.
The other two, yeah. That's why I figured you would read the other two. Okay, so yeah, we have A.C.E. The first song is Do It Like Me. So this song, actually, I was surprised because it has like that typical like Middle Eastern style like hip hop beat.
Yeah.
But the song is like way softer than you'd expect for that beat, like the vocals and stuff. But I liked that. I thought it was a nice mix, like, or a nice like twist on it, because when you hear that style, like, I instantly think Fast and Furious 7 when they're in Abu Dhabi, because they play that one song with the exact same type thing, like the Middle Eastern style like trap beat.
Yeah.
And I just think like there's gonna be like this generic auto-tune trap song over this. But it's like, yeah, it's like pretty softer like vocals and stuff. The drop was pretty standard, like it has like that the vocal effect, like EDM instrumentals where they like just edit some vocals and do standard EDM stuff with it. But overall, I like the verses for the song a lot more than I thought I would when I first started the beat.
Yeah, there's a lot more musicality to it than you'd think would actually exist in like this like hype EDM banger. And I'm a big fan of like boy group hype EDM bangers, but yeah, there is I think that the vocals are definitely what takes it over the top compared to other songs of this variety. So yeah, it was something I enjoyed a lot more, and great way to start off the freaking album, like the that's like so hype.
Yeah.
Cooper's thoughts. Cooper, probably the biggest A.C.E fan out of all of us.
Oh yeah, 100% the biggest A.C.E fan. He actually knows the members and has a bias.
I only know like
stuff.
1 or 2 names.
I don't know. I found out one name yesterday because his name is Wow, and apparently he's not able to go to Singapore, so he must have visa issues. Whoops. So they're performing as 4 members. And then Cooper was mad at me that I didn't know WoW because that's his bias, apparently.
Oops. Anyway, his thoughts on Do It Like Me are, I didn't know if I was going to like this song at first, but it has so much attitude that I associate with Ace's live performances. Yes, they're very good live, at least from like stages and everything. So I think this fits perfectly. It's so much fun to listen to, and I actually really like the drop. It has sort of that Moombahton feel. Definitely does.
Next, we have Undercover, and this is the single, obviously, title track. So it was funny because Cooper told me that the instant this came out, he tagged me and told me to listen to it. And it starts out as a song I would hate a ton, and I thought he was just trolling me because it starts out with a super auto-tuned rap, like exactly what I don't like. But then it becomes hard rock, like rap rock, and instantly switches into something I love. And I was like, okay, this is why Cooper tagged me. This is Ace coming for that Stray Kids throne.
Yeah,
of
basically.
just like doing straight, super hard rock instrumentals, great rap, verses, great singing. I really like the pre-chorus with the piano. And the vocals are really good during that. It builds into like the straight rock chorus. It's a nice like drop down to build up. And there's a really good pause there too, right before the chorus. I love pauses in music, so that one was done really well. Ad libs at the end were great. Like just everything about the song is what I love. It's like types of music I love, and I think it was done flawlessly. This is definitely one of my top singles of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I thought the music video was really cool. They have like a really cool, I picked it for the screenshot, but they have a really cool effect of like projecting light and shadow on a wall. Like a member standing in front of the wall, and they just have like this projection of like these cool like fractals and like trippy patterns and stuff. And then overall, the rest of the music video, the sets are pretty basic. Also, the rapper 100% is trying to channel GD in as part of his music video. He's so like trying to be GD and like weird, and like the styling and everything was GD.
But it's so good though.
It was done well, but it was just funny to me. And the choreography is really intense and fun. I think it fits the song really well too. So yeah, overall solid release. This is 100% why we're reviewing this album.
This one song
Cooper
just like
pointed out this single and was like, "Oh yeah, we should cover this because people should check this out."
Oh yeah, this song hard carried like the whole album. Like it's a 4-track album, but I mean like it carried it so hard. I think. Again, I explained before that I'm not the biggest Ace fan, but the one thing I do like about them is they've been unafraid. Oh, granted, like they kind of like did stuff in the meantime while like some of the members were off in like UNB and like other like sort of survival shows. But the one thing I do like is as a group, they haven't been afraid to, or like the music wise, they haven't been afraid to experiment. Because I mean, if you can remember all the way back in like this is like 2018, 2017 when they debuted, yeah,
something like that,
yeah, 2017. Like they put out their debut song was like a freaking like hard style like crazy EDM track, when they moved into like this like hard rock type of thing. Like you're always getting something new and interesting from Ace. So I like that. I like that they're pushing the envelope in that sort of way. But yeah, I pretty much echo a lot of your points. As a big fan of any group, whether boy group or girl group, just doing like rock instrumentals. This is just complete heaven for me. Like especially with like, again, as someone that isn't averse to like auto-tuned rapping as much as you are, like it's that perfect combination of like hip hop and this hard rock style. That chorus, just like the serious impact that they give with those choral vocals, like everything about, like I could go on and on about the instrumental of the song, because like there's like these sick drum fills everywhere.
Yep.
There's like gunshot sounds. Like this song has everything. Basically. They just put everything in here and it works. As you're mentioning with like visuals and the music video, yeah, so the rapper, his name is Byung-Kwan, the one that was the guy that's wearing this like crazy like yellow fur-lined jacket, and his hair is in like braids and everything. I'm just like, oh, it's crazy. And they're also wearing these like red like military like style uniforms. Like I really love the styling in this entire music video. I kind of wish that like the rest of the music video, like kind of like lived up to that aspect of it though. They probably should have shown the choreography more, in all honesty.
Yeah, they didn't show it enough.
Yeah, they barely showed it, and I think I probably would have enjoyed the music video if they showed the choreography more. Because what I did see, I did like, and I mean, I went and watched like their live stage, and the choreography was like hype as hell. So yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
For a song like this, you have to show the choreography a lot more. So that's probably the only like knock I'd have against it.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper, said. He said, quote, "I knew the sound this would have from watching all the teasers, but I wasn't prepared for how epic it would be. This rock and EDM vibe is such a great direction to go. Their hardstyle stuff didn't really pan out, sadly. Take Me Higher was a nice lighter sound, but this could be their strongest release yet. The MV is low budget, but it makes great use of what they have. The styling is insane and instantly iconic. They're a super heavy choreo group, and they did not disappoint. Some of the best I've seen this year." So yeah, Cooper's just incredibly high on this song. Yeah, I am too. I was surprised at how much I ended up liking this, in all honesty.
Yeah, I could see this on awards list at the end of the year for a single. Next we have Mr. Bass. I thought this was a throwback to like Gen 2 boy group songs.
Yep.
It's just really, it's very like, love the funk in the song, great harmonies. Overall they're just doing the shiny thing, and I think they're doing it really well. So yeah, it was just fun to see them try out like a shiny style song and not bomb it. I thought the instrumentals are fantastic. I love the super like high pitched bell synth in the background, and just overall the synth line in general is fantastic.
You're not going to talk about the bass in the song? It's literally called Mr. Bass. Where's Mr. Bass?
You got it covered.
I guess. Yes, I obviously love the bass line and everything. The only thing I didn't, I guess I wouldn't like about this song is I kind of wish like they would have done something a bit more interesting in the chorus than just kind of repeat Mr. Bass like over and over again.
Yeah, I thought the Mr. Bass was a little too repetitive. Like it wasn't egregious, but it was getting to the point where they should have cut it out of a few more parts.
Yeah, because I ended up, honestly, I kind of ended up liking the build up in the pre-chorus a lot more than the actual chorus, like the "Don't you give it up" like that. And obviously, like that instrumental definitely like continues onward into the chorus. But yeah, I just like how it sort of incorporates like all these like electric keys and all that sort of stuff, like guitar sounding stuff into it. Just basically, it really is just like a shiny, like funky, like type R&B track. So they do it really well, surprisingly well.
Yep.
Cooper. He said the performance of this is so fun. I'm guessing they did this as their other song for their live stages. Yeah. He says I get light, shiny vibes. It's really funky, and I love the synths here especially.
Yep. And next we have If You Heard. And for me, I love the piano start. I'm always a fan of like sentimental acoustic piano based like boy group songs. Very like Big Bang, early Big Bang. It was one of their two types of Big Bang that you got out there. You got the sentimental acoustic stuff.
You got emo Big Bang and you got hype Big Bang.
Yeah, and
there's nothing in
on
between.
The emo side. I thought there's some really good guitar licks and like funky bass too. It's a little quiet, but it's there. It gets more prominent later on, especially during the second verse. But yeah, I really like the song. It's probably my favorite like album track. I'm just always a sucker for this kind of like sentimental track if it's done well. And I think this was.
I mean, yeah, it's done pretty well, but like I've heard this kind of a billion times already. But it definitely comes off as kind of the weakest on the 4 or 5 album, 5-track mini album for me. But I mean, I do like the vocals that they showcased on here. Cooper kind of had similar thoughts to me. He said, weakest song in the album for me, a serviceable acoustic ballad, but wasn't really elevated by anything.
Yeah. And then I have Star, which everyone else missed. But I'll
5-tar.
It's 5-tar or Star. But yeah, it's a ballad. It's a piano ballad. But I think it's a pretty decent ballad, actually. The opening vocals are fantastic. There's a lot of emotion there. The only thing that bothered me with the song mostly was the first, like, I wish the tone of the rap was a little less nasally. For this song in particular, and like I know some are rappers that's just their tone.
Yeah, you can't help it.
It doesn't fit a ballad. I wish he was like able to just tone it down a little bit. Like it wasn't egregious. Like it didn't ruin the song, but it kind of
felt like a bit inappropriate.
It felt a little out of place.
Yeah, the vibe of song they were trying to go for.
Yep. So yeah, we'll get to scores now. For me, I gave it a 6.5 out of 7 for music. loved everything on this album pretty much. There's just a couple small things. Mostly the chorus of "Do It Like Me" is really the only thing that lost them points. And I liked the verses a lot on that song, so I just dropped them a 0.5. And then I gave it a 2 out of 3 for concept. So overall a 8.5.
On my end, for the single, I gave 3.5 points. I really do that, but I mean, damn, this is just this song is amazing. Like, again, just to come from a group like A.C.E, they're just constantly surprising me with these different sounds. So I hope they continue to like maybe go down this path. I wish I liked the album tracks more. In all honesty, I only get like 2.5 points out of 3.5 for that. Most of that's probably just "Do It Like Me" and a bit from Mr. Bass. But I mean, I kind of wish it would have been longer. If I knew that it was 5 tracks, maybe it would change a bit, but I mean, I don't think ballad ending it off would not have changed it much.
It's a good ballad, but it's not a blow you away Taeyeon ballad, so it probably wouldn't have changed your score.
Yeah, concept I gave 2 out of 3. I love choreography. I love the styling and visuals of it. I wish the music video was a tad bit more creative than just them kind of just like sitting in like random like box sets and doing choreography in that one building that every boy group does choreography in. I swear, it's just like there must be like a bunch of abandoned buildings like on the outskirts of Seoul that just get a lot of use because it's like every boy group does like choreography videos in there essentially. So 2 out of 3 on that front. For a total of 8 out of 10. I was pretty. I enjoyed it for what songs they did have though. So pretty surprised on how high I ended up rating this.
Cooper, you want me to do Jacob's?
Oh yeah, first, go for Jacob. Yeah.
So Jacob, his summary was: the mini album opens with "Do It Like Me," which is a fun hype song with very forward sounding vocals and Arabic sounding electronic instrumentals. Undercover, the title track of the mini, is still very much in the super hype camp with really cool, almost industrial sounding rock instrumentals that often tread into EDM genre or EDM region. Mr. Bass was a really cool track since it decided to go more into the 80s, 90s synth or techno style, also taking on more of an 80s style flow when it came to the rap. The vocals on that song especially stood out as well. Finally, we end the album with a big banger, B-style upbeat ballad in the form of "If You Heard." Really enjoy the vocals and piano instrumental on that track. Overall, this is a very good mini album from A.C.E, and I hope to see this quality continue into the future releases. He gave it a 6 out of 7 for music and a 2 out of 3 for concept, same score as you, for an 8 out of 10.
Cooper gave his like final overall thoughts. He said, "This is a super strong comeback after a year and a half. They just did a successful world tour, so I hope they build up their fan base. They've built up their fan base a bit and are able to come back frequently now. They are definitely one of my favorite active boy groups." He gave 5.5 out of 7 for music, a 2.5 out of 3 for concept, for a grand total of 8 out of 10. So, yeah, it's pretty straightforward what the score is. There's 3 8s and 8.5, so this is an 8. Straight 8, yeah. So surprisingly good single from a group I guess we just haven't paid attention to in a while or heard of from. Yeah, because again, they were busy doing other like survival show stuff. So hopefully, like they built. UNB had decent popularity, so hopefully they can build in terms of fan base on that.
I was actually thinking about them earlier this week. I was like, what happened to them? Because they disbanded with like no fanfare at all.
Yeah, which kind of sucked. I don't know.
They put out Black Heart, which was awesome, and that like last year. And then I looked up their Wikipedia page and it said they disbanded January, but they didn't put out anything since like May last year.
I think like the contract just ended. I think at that point. So.
Yeah, they didn't get a goodbye single or like even Unity got a goodbye single.
Garbage as that last album was got a goodbye single.
They got something when they disbanded, whereas Black Heart was. Well, and that was funny because I thought UMB was going to get more than Unity because they had more time still, and Unity disbanded like prematurely. But then nothing happened with so yeah.
Imagine putting all that effort into like the show and then only getting like a mini album or two.
Yeah, like they both got 2 mini albums.
Yeah, what a waste, unfortunately. But I guess that's to be expected with survival shows that don't dethrone friggin' produce. Anyway, What are your thoughts on A.C.E.'s Undercover? Do you like their new direction, going more Stray Kids hard rock style? Would you like to see them in concert? I think they came here I think they came to the U.S.
Yeah, I think they've done. They've done.
Oh no, they didn't come to. they might not have come to like or I was busy, but I'd like to see Ace. I need to see the short shorts.
Yeah,
I need to
pants.
see the short shorts again. So definitely let us know your thoughts on all the music that we cover here in the comments.
Okay, I'll move on to topic 3, which is another review that you will be reading. It is Katie's Log.
So, for those that aren't familiar with Katie, or Katie Kim, she is a Korean American. Korean that grew up in America. She hails from my neck of the woods, New Jersey, which has a crap ton of Koreans. And just in general, there's a lot of idols that seem to come from New Jersey.
It's weird.
Well, because there's like really big like population centers of just Koreans, like in New Jersey. Like there's like you have Edison, New Jersey has a lot of Korean, or like right around where I am, there's a bunch of Koreans. Up north near like where the George Washington Bridge is, there's a lot of Koreans. Like there's just like really like big Korean populations here. So there's a lot of people. Yeah, like they hold like idol auditions like in town, like Big Hit, I think like Starship or something. Like they're like SM, like they hold auditions in this area because they know there's a huge Korean population. Yeah, Katie Kim just hails from that neck of the woods. She studied jazz music at Berklee College of Music, which is probably the most prestigious music school in all of the United States, but she had to drop out because of like financial situations with her family. But what she's mostly known for is she's the winner of K-Pop Star Season 4. She was huge on there, and made the decision to sign with YG. Nothing really happened, unfortunately, with YG, and it just so happened that the person that was sort of in charge of her, his name is Sin XITY. Like I'm guessing it's like Sin City or something like that. That's the name of the producer. He was a producer at YG that left the company.
Oh yeah, that's 100% Sin City.
Yeah, he left the company to open his own like label essentially called A.C.E. So he just made an agreement with YG to allow Katie to follow him over to A.C.E., and they just sort of helped promote it a bit. And she released her debut single last year entitled Remember, which is on this release. Just to give some background, because she's probably like not that well known, at least among K-pop fans.
Yeah, it says that YG will continue to help with the distribution of her debut album. So just this album they'll help with, and then she's on her own.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely seems more like self-sufficient compared to like proper. She technically isn't really K-pop. She's more of just like a Korean artist doing like music essentially. She's more of she's like the equivalent to like Nicki from like 88 Rising, just like another like Asian person just doing their own sort of thing with like this type of like R&B music, which is why I ended up liking it more than not more than I thought it would. I definitely knew I was gonna like it, but yeah, I guess more than other people might. So, getting into her Log EP, we start off with No Instructions. I thought this was a great opening track. Katie's vocal talent is just outstanding, and she really fits these like R&B, like future-based type of instrumentals. She has really good vocalization on the verses that I really like. In general, just like the vocalization that she utilizes on the entire album, I just fell in love with immediately. I'd say the only like tiny bit that I'd maybe like put against this song would be the chorus, like the no instructions kind of just gets repeated a bit too often for my taste. But I mean, I still like the verses more than make up for it, and her voice is just smooth as butter, so I loved every second of it.
Yeah, we've talked about her in releases before.
Yeah,
right?
we talked about her.
She's put out stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
No,
that's
like
what
her
I
only.
thought.
Yeah, we covered her when she released Remember, like last year.
Remember. So. Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure. So yeah, this is just a fantastic like R&B vocals that I kind of expected after remembering what we talking about her in releases. I really love the instrumentals and the chorus. I like how like glitchy and unexpected they are. Like I didn't expect that like that much glitchiness in like this type of song really. It was more like I just you expect most of this stuff to be like pretty chill, like instrumental light R&B. So that caught me for a loop. But yeah, overall, just like really dreamy R&B song, fantastic vocals,
And
which pretty much pervades through the whole album.
And I mean, you know, this is my thing. Like this is like probably the favorite.
Exactly. This is 100%.
Like basically, when I'm adding the entire album to my smooth as fuck playlist, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I like it. You know, I like it 100%. So
yeah.
Moving on to the second song entitled "Future Love." One thing I have to mention before we move on, because she released the album first on her YouTube channel before it dropped on Spotify. The cool thing about like seeing like or listening to it on YouTube was because because the album art here that we're showing on the screen right now is just the album, like the whole album art, but she made there's album art for each individual track, and this one looks so dope. It's like a heart made out of like binary and everything. It's like basically like the same like sort of format.
Them all now. They're really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I wish more groups would do that, in all honesty. It's so cool. Anyway, onto the actual track here. Yeah, this is again a lot more R&B, less of that feature influence on it. Definitely a lot more of a traditional. Again, just her voice is so perfectly fit for these types of songs, just because like she's got the right amount of sweetness and raspiness to her voice. Again, I love she's showcasing a bit of vocal range here. I mean, for these songs you tend to stay pretty monotone to some degree, but there's some sections where she goes to a really low register, especially for a female singer. So that I was really impressed with.
Yeah, I really like the string accented notes with her singing. There's like parts where like there's a couple words. I can't remember. I didn't write the words down, but she'll say like a word in both syllables. They'll have like a string part to it.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, that was a really cool. And I like how they added an instrumental layer during the pre-chorus. Because the verses are like super empty and echoey, but it builds a little bit for the pre-chorus and chorus, which like it's weird to say because the song's super chill and super empty overall.
So you wouldn't.
But
think there's
a tiny bit of build between the verse and the chorus and the pre-chorus and the chorus, which like was a nice touch, even though like you don't expect that for these songs that are pretty much stay in their energy
even
level
keel.
Like yeah, exactly.
And I mean, like, it's pretty easy, I guess, in a way, just for there to be a build, because literally the only instrumentation is just like that drum track, basically.
Yeah,
that's it. It's
exactly.
just, and honestly, with someone as good of a singing voice as her, that's all you really need. In all honesty.
Yeah, exactly. Like
she's hard.
The focus of these songs is your voice. Like the instrumentals are just there to help. Like it's not the focus, like most K-pop is, where it's much more important.
Moving on to the lead single off of this EP, we're on to "Thinking About You." For a second, I thought it was going to be a cover. Like Frank Ocean's most popular song back in the day was called "Thinking About You," and this is in the same key. So I was just like, "Is this a cover?" for like the first 5 seconds of it. So, but no, it's an original song. So as a big fan of like her first single in "Remember," I was just like, I don't know if there's anything that's going to top this. And she managed to make a song that probably ends up either matching it or matching "Remember" or topping "Remember," in all honesty, because I can't stop listening to this song. I can't stop thinking about this song, like the freaking like title says. I can't stop like singing this song. Again, this is literally just a perfect showcase of what somebody with her vocal talent is capable of. Like the chorus, like the you, just incredible. Like again, there's nothing really too crazy in terms of belting, but again, it's just I can't really think of too many.
It doesn't need it though.
Yeah, it doesn't need it because there's just so much other details she's showcasing in her voice, and it's just she fits it so perfectly that you don't need like belting and all that sort of like additional stuff to make this song enjoyable. Again, like as some I'm a huge fan of like a lot of like R&B female like solo singers that do music like this, and like she's shot her way up to like my favorites list. Like surprisingly like in a surprisingly short time. Like I did not expect to like Katie's music this much so fast, but yeah, this is essentially like a perfect song for me, in all honesty. It's like this is the type of music I just love listening to, like outside of basically when I get tired of listening to like the same old K-pop over and over again, this is just what I listen to like every day.
How can you get tired?
I get tired of K-pop so easily, man. In all honesty, like that's why I listen to this. Like this is most of the music I listen to, in all honesty, just because it's a nice like sort of change of pace from everyone like hype boy group music or just like cutesy girl group music. Like this is the type of music I'm really into. As for like the music video or like the visual elements, it's not as crazy as the Remember music video, which I'll kind of get into later. But I love the aesthetic of this. There's like they make use of like a lot of like cool like glitchy technology. Again, it's definitely her visual aesthetic. Like there's like the part where there's like a thermal camera and you see her like leave like a handprint and everything. I love like cool stuff like that. The outfits are nice. It's like this really cool contrast where most of the people in the music video, like the background like people and Katie herself, are wearing red, and then most of the background's like a black or white, like a neutral type color. So it's a really good contrast and color block. Katie with bangs looks amazing. Like I love this look from her because she had like more of like a parted and lighter hair color, like more like wavy in Remember, which again I'll get to later. But yeah, like her with like the straightened like bangs looks just incredible. Like basically I loved everything about this like release. It's just as close to perfection as you can get for me.
Yeah, for me, I love the like super heavy reverb synth and like super slow, like deep instrumental intro. Just overall the song just sounds really heavy. And I love that. And then like you mentioned, the falsetto chorus with like the U's, like the super melodic U part was like a really good switch up compared to the rest of the like how heavy and deep the rest of the song is. So yeah, it really stood out to me. I really like the song too. And yeah, the music video was really cool too. Like you said, there's a lot of really cool use of like thermal, night vision imagery, and just in general the use of light and like spotlights and just lighting in general throughout the whole
contrast
music video was
lighting.
really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really, really cool music video on top of a really great song.
It's funny how like heavy some of her music can be when she has like the softest voice, I feel like, known to man, and it translates to like because she had Genius, like the company, like that like website that like does like all like the lyrics or whatever. They have a YouTube channel where they interview like artists and they talk about like what the lyrics of their songs mean, that sort of thing. So she was on one of the videos there and she just has like the softest, sweetest voice. I'm just like, oh my god. She's incredible. Speaking of the song that she was discussing in that Genius video, I guess we can link that in the description if you want to check it out. We're moving on to I guess a remix of, or a new version of her original single, Remember, featuring Ty Dolla $ign of all people. So Ty Dolla $ign is probably like one of the hottest names in, I guess he's mostly a singer, so he does a lot of features on other like hip hop artists, but I guess you can put him in that like hip hop sphere. Like he's working with people like J. Cole and Lil Wayne and like Post Malone. Like he's getting like he's very popular. So I was just shocked when I saw like Katie of all people to work with Ty Dolla $ign. Katie, like I didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, the Wikipedia said that the guy who Sin City, I guess, managed him previously.
Oh, so that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. So he has connections to like the American music industry in that sort of way. So that's really awesome and having Ty Dolla $ign on this remix or this version of the song means there's more of a chance it can get airplay in the United States. So that's probably what the thinking was in re-releasing this with a Ty Dolla $ign feature. I mean, I kind of went over like last year how much I love this song. It was probably one of my favorite songs of the last year because this song is like 100% freaking like future bass, like the drop and everything, and her vocals in here are still incredible. Like again, like the like the vocalization that she kind of uses in Thinking About You, similar type of vibe to it. Yeah, just all of this is just like the music I love listening to. Ty Dolla $ign, like I I'm not necessarily a big fan or that experienced in listening to his music, but I mean I have heard him before, so I think he definitely adds a lot of value to this mix. The only thing I would like better is maybe a smoother transition between his like feature verse to like the core, like the chorus, because he just ends and then it just goes, I swear to God I still taste you, just like really like abruptly. So if there was a bit of a smoother transition between the feature and going into the chorus, or if he contributed beyond that, I think it would have been better. Again, we talked about the music video last year as well. It's probably one of the most memorable music videos I've seen in years. It basically looks like a Yeezy fashion show or something like that. Just crazy, like outfits and styling, and there's like all this like liquid gold CG stuff or whatever. Just like it looks like an Apple like iPhone ad or something like that. Just incredible like imagery. Like I think that's the one thing I might like about Katie the most, is that she has such a distinctive visual style that goes so well with her music, which in itself is very distinct and unique to, I guess, just the Korean music scene or just what we'd normally cover. So again, this just oozed like originality for me. And yeah, being a song I already liked, I obviously went in liking it, and just the Ty Dolla $ign feature I feel like added to it still.
Mm-hmm. So you said the song came out last year without the feature? Yeah,
without the feature. It's pretty much the MVs. The MV is almost the same.
And they just added a part with him.
Yeah, they just added a part with Ty Dolla $ign went to like this one building in LA where everyone films music videos. Like Hyodin did her Dali music video in that same building. Like it's just like a famous filming spot. So.
Yeah, I was just like, because I thought we covered I didn't remember the song, because I feel like I would have remembered a feature like this, and so it makes sense that it was this song but without the feature. But yeah, I like how this song is much more loud and like anthem-y compared to the rest of the album. It definitely injects a nice bit of energy to the album. So I think it's in a good spot. Her vocals are utterly fantastic. And yeah, like you said, the feature was good. I really liked when they harmonized. But yeah, it could have been a little bit better. But that's just me. And yeah, I agree that the transition was a little abrupt. That was something I noticed too. And I thought the drops with the altered vocals are great too. Like the standard, like taking the altered vocals and making them instrumentals. Yeah. For the drop was great. And then yeah, the music video. So the second half of the music video is more like you said, it was like kind of like just like a hip hop fashion show. It's like more of a standard like R&B hip hop MV, I felt like. But yeah, the first half of the music video is just, to me, you said it was like a Apple Music ad. What it reminds me of, it reminds me of the opening to a Bond movie.
Yeah,
like, it's like the Bond opening credits is exactly what it looks like.
Weird shit.
There's just tons of weird imagery with like liquids and like just weird stuff
naked
going on, and that's like,
place. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, and just like silhouettes, and like it looked exactly like that. I was like, this could easily be the opening of a Bond film. So that's what it reminded me of, which is cool. Like, it's really cool.
I should look up who the director, the cinematographer of this was, because they must have done like commercials or like something other than like just music videos like this for it to be like this. Like, yeah, it seems like they're advertising a product or something, but it's just like a music video. Yeah. So, I mean, given the preference, I'd probably listen to like the original version minus the Ty Dolla $ign feature, but I mean, this one's still pretty good too. Moving on to the next song, which is entitled Love Kills, and another just standout song for me. Probably just because, again, I love the way she vocalizes on the chorus. And again, I was talking about like how much range she had on Future Love, and then on Love Kills, it's just even like there's that part in the chorus where it basically like do 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 do. It keeps going like higher and higher and higher. Like she basically does almost like an entire scale as the melody, and it's there's like it's just like a vocal like showcase essentially. Like she's holding such a clinic in terms of what she's showcasing on all these songs. So like I really love that aspect of it. Yeah, it's definitely a lot chiller than something like Thinking About You or Remember, but I still, again, just the vocals are probably what stand out the most here, because she just does it more than enough to make it interesting for me.
Yeah, this is actually my favorite song on the album. I really love the high pitched vocals for the chorus. They really stood out to me. Like you said, the vocals are very much stand out. But even the instrumentals for me, I really liked. I liked the repeated bells, and the beat, despite it being repetitive, is really interesting. To me the instrumentals have an industrial vibe to them, and it reminds me of like
the whole album.
It reminds me of like a chill version of Taeyeon's "I Got Love."
Yeah, basically,
like it's like a really chill version of that song's instrumentals. So I really enjoyed it. This is my favorite song on the album for sure.
And we close out the album with "Better Off," which actually might be my favorite like song of the album. That wasn't a single because I love thinking about you so much.
Yeah.
Again, just like I mentioned before, like she went to freaking Berkeley to study jazz, and that's just like she's showcasing like all that she like learned there in this track. Like,
yep.
She basically like she reminds me of someone like Esna, in all honesty, with just like how perfect she's meant to do this kind of music, essentially, with the way that she's like the smoothness of her voice is just, it's a match made in heaven, essentially. Again, the instrumentals are fairly simple. Like there's just like a drum track and like some like electric like keys, which I'm a sucker for all the time. But again, just like the way that she vocalizes, just super hard carries this song, and it was a great way to end the album. And it was, in a way, it's kind of a nice change of pace to do this like more traditional, like kind of 90s R&B when she's doing a lot of these more like modern, more hip-hop influenced R&B songs, and this is just straight up, this sounds like something you could release in Korea and get popular with. So just again, the showing it just that bit of range I really appreciated.
Yeah, I thought this was a great way to end. Just love that like lounge singer vibe, the acapella like ba parts, just vocals in general shine in this song. There's tons of layering and harmonizing, and just like you said, this is a much more like traditional sound for R&B, like older school vibe. So and just that like jazzy lounge feeling, just she does so well. So yeah, it was a really, really good way to end the album.
Yeah, I want more. I want a single like this, in all honesty, because if she releases a single like this in Korea, she'd probably blow up like immediately, because they love their ballad, they love their R&B over there. So especially like older like people like around my age. So yeah, I think she'd definitely have a market in that sense. So getting on to the scores, ratings. Single, I'm giving a 3.5 out of 3.5, just full marks.
2 in a row.
Both. Yeah, I did not expect to like both of these so much.
See if we can go 3 in a row.
Oh, no, it won't. just spoiling that now. So yeah, like thinking about you just sort of showed me a completely different side of her compared to like what we got with Remember, and just I'm all for it. I'm all for both types of music, in all honesty, just because this is what I listen like. Katie's essentially like an artist that's kind of like built specifically for like my musical tastes, so I don't know, it's just everything about it was perfect in that sense. Album, I'm giving 3 out of 3.5. Minor like deductions just for like, I guess, just minor things and like no instruction or whatever, but I mean, almost I'm going to listen to every single song on this album like repeatedly, which is very rare just because we're always like listening to new music, so I don't have much time to go back. But I mean, I actively will go back to this album like sometime in the future, or like all the time, essentially. Concept, 3 out of 3. Just again, I feel like the visual elements of Katie's, both in like the music video, styling, even the album art, like it feels like such a big important part of her as an artist, and you rarely get to say that for like K-pop. I feel like for most K-pop artists or most K-pop groups, it's the visuals and all this stuff is like it serves an end to a means, essentially. It's not necessarily a focus in some degrees, where I feel like this is so much more integral to her as an artist, which I do appreciate and we really get to see. So that's a total of a 9.5 out of 10, which I've only given probably like once or twice the rest of the year. I think the only other one I gave might have been to Baekhyun's album. So like that's how highly I'm rating this, where And like in all honesty, Katie's probably up there with like Dean and Off on Off and Ju Young and Becky and for like R&B artists that I'm just in love with completely. And I can't wait to hear more music from her, in all honesty. I hope she, being like based out of the US, I hope she tours here. I'd pay immediately just to see her in concert. So, and it's going to be live vocals, so that's going to be an amazing experience.
Yep.
9.5.
Yeah. For me, I actually had overall notes. The one thing I wanted to mention before I gave my score was, like you said, the album art was just the general album art's really cool. It's like a doorway in a desert with stairways leading up. And then, like you said, it's cool. All the different songs have different takes on that doorway image with different things in the doorway. So yeah, just album art's really, really cool. But yeah, so overall I gave it a 6.5 out of 7 for music. Same as you. Just a couple like smaller things here and there to knocked off a 0.5, but overall I loved everything on the album. I thought it was fantastic. And then I also gave it 3 out of 3 for concept. Music videos were really cool. And like I said, especially the album art is something that doesn't really affect my score usually, because for the most part, and at least in K-pop, it's rarely something that's noticeable to
like I said,
where it deserves to
serves
affect
an
the
ends to
score.
means, essentially. It's just there to be
but,
there.
Yep, but yeah, so here it was fantastic. So 3 out of 3, same score as you, 9.5 out of 10.
Oh my god. What did Jacob end up writing?
Yeah, so Jacob's summary, he said, overall, it's a really solid R&B EP, which I think could have some potential to catch some steam in the US, or in the English-speaking markets, considering the whole mini-album is in English.
Yeah.
Katie's vocals come out really sweetly and are easy to listen to. Thinking About You is probably the standout track of the album for me overall. Also really enjoyed the retro vibe of Better Off gave off, harkening back to styles of singing from the 50s or so. Every track on the album is a decent R&B track. The only thing that might hurt the album for people who are used to a typical K-pop style album is the lack of variety as far as the style of music goes. This is much more in line with what you'd find from an American artist's EP.
Yeah.
That, however, doesn't hurt the album much for me because I don't think it really falls into the K-pop paradigm album structure anyways, especially with every track being recorded in English. Mm-hmm. Overall, I really enjoyed all the tracks on the album and will be revisiting this from time to time. Side note, also really like the album art.
We're all talking about the album art.
Yeah, no surprise. Well, Jacob's the one who only talks about it. So if he didn't talk about it, I would have been worried. His rating, he gave it a 6.5 out of 7 for music and 2.5 out of 3 for concept for a 9 out of 10.
Wow, we're looking good here in terms of scores. So Cooper, he's the deciding factor, I guess. He wrote, I really like Katie's whole R&B vibe. A lot of the songs sound kind of the same to me, but it's enjoyable to just listen through the album over and over again. The only song I don't really enjoy is Remember. The drop is a major turnoff, but it's better here because that part is shortened. Thinking About You is probably my favorite track. I love her vocal timbre. I will say her MVs are always really beautiful and interesting to watch. The attention to detail and added effects are really cool. A 5 out of 5 out of 7 for music, a 2.5 out of 3 for concepts, for a total of 8 out of 10. So that averages to a 9. This gets it gets the shiny, and it deservedly so. Like, this immediately goes on. It's gonna fight with Becky in for mini album of the year for me. In all honesty, it's that good. Those two are probably gonna fight for best R&B artist or best female solo art.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I really don't know which album I prefer, because the style of R&B that Becky does is kind of different to the style that Katie does, but they're both equally as good. So just as a fan of female solo artists, this is just where they're just both killing it in that way. So what are your thoughts on Katie's Log EP? Do you like Thinking About You? Do you like Remember? Did you expect freaking Ty Dolla $ign to show up in this album at all? Do you mind that it's all in English? I mean, that's a pretty big thing, I guess, for K-pop fans who are just used to not understanding lyrics or lyrical content for most of the part. But I mean, it really didn't affect me too much, in all honesty. If anything, it just made it easier to sing along to a lot of the songs. So definitely, if you haven't heard of Katie, check this one out. It's so I usually don't try to super shove albums down people's throats, but this is literally one you have to listen to this year. It's that good. So definitely, if you have any thoughts on it, leave your comments.
Yep. And finally, we're going into topic 4, which is our final review of this episode, and it is AB6IX, or AB6 if you want to be proper, debut album Be Complete, which Andrew will also be running.
All right, so AB6.
101, is this our first 101 branch? Like,
yes, proper group, like an actual group, because most. Well,
we've gotten solos. I feel like most of 101's gonna do solos.
I mean,
we're not gonna get a bunch of groups like we did with
technically New West was the first, but of original
New
groups
West
that
count.
Groups
That's
that
cheating.
launch groups that launched after 101 disbanded. Yeah, AB6 is I guess the first proper 101 branch group. So. Yes, as I mentioned before, this has 101 members. This is from Brand New Music, and it has Lee Dae-wi and Park Woo-jin, who were in 101, and it has Im Young-min and Kim Dong-hyun, who are part of MXM. So Brand New Music had a really good plan, considering that Dae-wi and Woo-jin got in 101. They're like, okay, we'll just do like a subunit with Young-min and Dong-hyun in the meantime, and they got pretty popular as well. So like, there's a lot of hype coming in for this group. There was an additional member. His name is Jung-woon. I thought it was just going to be like the 101 members and MXM members, so I'm surprised that they ended up adding him. But this guy, like, all that's really known about him is that he was a former trainee of both YG and JYP. He's been trained for like 6 years. He was on the Stray Kids survival show for all of like 2 seconds or something like that, because there was an episode where they had like a competition between like YG and like JYP trainees. I don't know exactly. Because there was that one episode where they were covering YG songs or something like that.
Well, no, there's a like ongoing like fun competition with JYP and YG where they're boy groups as trainees like compete against each other. Okay. And they and JYP and YG themselves actually like judge them and like pick a winner. So like GOT7 did this with like Winner and Icon as trainees, and then so Stray Kids did it against like a lot of the Treasure Box people.
Yeah. So apparently
on the Stray Kids show.
Yeah, so Woong was apparently like a part of that group, but he wasn't shown on the TV show for all that much. So yeah, I guess it's just a bit of background going into the group. And now on to their music. They're starting off with this opening track called Absolute, and what a freaking like banger of an opening track, to steal, I guess, to Baron's words. Just as a big fan of like, I guess 101 to some degree, I feel like Woojin was kind of like I guess he was kind of like buried underneath like all like the huge members there, and because 101 was mostly vocal focused, not as much like rap focused. And if there were rap parts, they'd give most of it to just like Kang Daniel, because Daniel's like the face of that group essentially. Like he's like the only one that some people even care about sometimes. So I guess I was just thrown off guard a bit hearing how like ham Woojin goes in this opening part of the rap. Im Young-min as well does a really good part in the rap part. So as I mentioned in the Ace review, as a fan of like super hype boy group songs, like this just did it for me like very well. It's just, I love the really cool harmony part that they do in the chorus, just kind of like almost like Monsta X just to some degree in that sort of way. So really enjoyable opening track for me. I see you disagree.
I was like, this is gonna be backwards day, where Andrew likes
I like
everything.
the album more than everyone else does.
We don't like it.
I'm gonna die on this goddamn hill for some group I don't even care that much about.
Cooper's review after I wrote mine, and he when you get to his thoughts, they're gonna be very similar. But to me, this song is. It is like Monsta X, I agree, but it felt like it was missing something that Monsta X has. I don't know what. I felt like it just didn't match the energy level and the charm that Monsta X has, like does better than most groups in this type of song. It just, parts of it felt too like sluggish and like they weren't hype enough for the instrumentals of the song. And then on top of that, I think the instrumentals themselves are much more generic than Monsta X usually does, especially the chorus. The chorus is very like generic hype EDM song. I wish there was a little bit more going for it. I don't hate it. It's just it was too generic, and it felt like they were trying to do what Monsta X does, but just weren't able to do it well enough. So it made me like it less than I think it would have if they just tried something different. And there's another song on this album where they do something similar, which we'll get to later. And I think once again it was a detriment.
So Cooper's thoughts were, I didn't really enjoy this song. Just starting right off the bat. He says, I don't typically enjoy Monsta X songs done by other groups. I don't think they have the vocal or rap ability to carry the loud and overbearing production. Overall, a mediocre start to the album. Wow, just not mincing his words there. Next, we're on to Shining Stars, which, again, in most contexts, I'd say it'd be your, I guess, prototypical, like, standard, like, sentimental EDM boy group song. But
yep,
in that sense, it kind of reminds me of remember that song, because you know how BTS did a lot of the singles like last year, Euphoria by Jungkook. Like
Euphoria.
that song.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Euphoria is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, I freaking love Euphoria, so I got kind of a similar vibe to that, which is why I didn't mind it as much. Also, just again, I just like Daewoo as a vocalist a lot, so I think he shines on these songs especially. So yeah, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a standard, like, your acoustic tropical house sentimental song, like hints of tropical house. It's not a tropical house song per se, but it's got those hints. But I think this song fits their vocal color and their style much better. It's got a pretty typical tropical house chorus, but I don't mind that. Everyone knows I like that. And I thought the rap stands out much better in the song too. Overall, I just think this song fit them a lot better than them trying to do what Monsta X does.
Okay,
and doing it worse.
I feel that too. Yeah, I definitely liked a lot, because you have such strong vocalists here, and especially in with like Daewoo. So yeah, it kind of get underutilized if you're just doing hype EDM bangers all the time. So yeah, I do appreciate that part of this. Cooper didn't have much to say. He said a pretty standard mid-tempo tropical house boy group song. Nothing much to say about this. It's fine.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, if I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. Moving on, we're on to the lead single off this mini album entitled Breathe. And definitely a appropriate title of the song, just because I was breathing mostly a sigh of relief that, oh my god, it's actual good music. I was just kind of worried about what AB6IX would do, like, stylistically.
Yeah. As
someone that likes what Daewoo usually does in terms of production, he worked on the production of the song with freaking Rhymer of all people, like the big mind behind Brand New Music. So yeah, this is what all that I wanted from like a Daewoo produced like debut single. In all honesty, he definitely feels a bit influenced, or you feel that influence of like what 101 was doing, like with like Energetic to some degree. It shares a lot of that same DNA with it. And I think in this song especially, it shows a really good balance of, again, those vocalists of Daewoo and Youngmin and Woojin's rapping. That part that he has in the chorus, like, I wanna breathe, just set me free, is incredible. It's so him too. Like I understand, like I completely understand like what what he's going for here. I'd say where it kind of falls flat a bit is like that second half of the chorus is like it just, the vocal melody kind of feels at odds with like the instrumental, so it kind of it sounds super messy, and yeah, that kind of like turned me off a bit from it. But yeah, I mean, I just because I love that chorus part with Daewoo so much, it didn't kill the song for me entirely. As for the music video, I like the outfits, but I mean, this is just like, I thought A.C.E.'s music video was kind of bog standard. This is even Yeah, more standard than that. But I mean, I'd say like the visual, like the choreography and the actual like outfits definitely made up for it. I really love the type of, they use like a lot of just like hand movements that go along with like syllables, like I want to breathe, just set me free, like that. Like again, I love that kind of dancing, and it works so well for this type of like house songs. So yeah, just another like debut or another single that we're reviewing that I surprisingly enjoyed more than I thought I would.
Yeah, this was 100% the best song on the album.
Oh, by light years.
Stand out by a mile. This was definitely the right song for the single. I thought the rap line showed more skill than an absolute here, and I just love the use of, I mean, everyone knows that we love deep house style like instrumentals and stuff, but what this 100% very much reminded me of GWSN, because he even used marimbas and bells like synths on top of the deep house. It was so much like GWSN singles, like that. Like I thought that was really cool to hear a male group do that similar kind of vibe, because it's a deep house. It's got the same bell marimba synths on top of the deep house. Like it's very, very similar.
This is male like Puzzle Moon, not
Puzzle. Yeah, exactly.
It's literally male Puzzle Moon.
The instant I heard it, I was like, oh, this is GWSN with guys singing. I'm like, okay, I'm into this. I just wish the album tracks matched the level of GWSN's album tracks. But yeah, I thought this was a fantastic single and a good debut song. And like you said, though, the music video is very bare bones. I thought there was some good use of color, but yeah, overall nothing stood out. But the choreo was really good, and they did it really well.
So Cooper's thoughts were this really hard carries the entire album for me. I absolutely love the house vibes here. It's completely up Davies' alley, and I think this is a sound they should stick to going forward, definitely. MV is really clean and crisp. The choreo was fun, and with just 5 members, it looks like a really like tight choreography. So I agree with everything Cooper says here. So finally, they're on the board with a song after just like them being boring, I guess, for the rest of it with Cooper.
Yeah.
Next, we have Friend Zone. I don't know. I really don't know how to describe this song, in all honesty. Interesting lyrics. Definitely. Got me in the friend zone. I want you in my love zone. Yeah. Yeah, Davey showing his English right there. It's catchy, but I'd say it definitely is kind of like forgettable to some degree. Like I feel like the album kind of like drops off a bit, like in this middle section between these two, this song and the next one, in all honesty, just because it's good, but I mean, after coming off Breathe, it's just like, oh, we're back to this again. So that's just kind of how I felt with it.
Yeah, so this is the other song I was talking about when I felt like they're trying to do something other groups do better, because this reminds me of the stuff on Winner's album or Pentagon, something Pentagon would put out, especially with that like bouncing piano. Yeah. It's just like that fun boyish song that like, yeah, the whole last album that we just reviewed from Winner or stuff Pentagon puts out, but it's not done as well as those groups. So like the first song sounded like a Monsta X song, but just didn't reach the level that I felt they needed to do that type of song. And this is the same. It's not a bad song, but the chorus just doesn't have the like energy and impact it needs for this type of song. Yeah. So like it just felt like they were trying to do something Pentagon or Winner would put out and just didn't do it well enough.
Coincidentally, Cooper actually says he really likes this song. He said it's really catchy and bouncy track. He got a bit of 17 vibes from it, which he approves of, and said it's one of his favorites. I mean, I get that, but again, there's not as much like vocal, I guess, just differentiation or just like anything to make it interesting, because literally like the entire chorus is just like repeating how much he wants to get out of the friend zone and be in the love zone, I guess. Just they could have done a bit more with this in my eyes.
Yep.
Moving on, we're on to Light Me Up. This is I don't know, this would probably be like the weakest for me, in all honesty. Like it's not horrible, it's just at this point I'm just like it kind of sounds like they're trying to do. This is the song I really felt like they're trying to do like other boy group type songs, but just not as well.
Yeah,
and it just kind of suffers for that in that degree. But yeah, it kind of sounds like they're trying to like draw on some of the house vibes that Breathe has, but just it doesn't have the same impact whatsoever. So yeah, I just skip this song a lot.
Yeah, I think the glitchy instrumental chorus carries the song, because overall it's a funky dance track, but the vocals aren't that impressive and the instrumentals and the verse are very basic. It just overall the song just seems pretty lifeless and generic. Like it just doesn't match what it's trying to do at all.
I think the reason why is like because I feel like Daebak was mostly involved in like the first half of the album. The second half of the album has a lot more like other like producers. I mean, he does a lot of the writing and everything, but still, I feel like he works better when he's the one like he has his finger in the pie, so to speak.
Just keep producing A.C.E single songs. Didn't he do did Airplane or did he do Up?
Yeah, he did one of those.
Those are like two of the best songs.
Basically, Daebak is just like a guy that wants to be in a girl group so bad. Yeah, just if you just do that, like just with a guy group, I'm all for it. In all honesty,
yeah,
he does it so well.
GWSN male version.
Yeah, that's all we're asking for, really, from AB6IX.
Guys in the park, guys.
Yeah, guys in the park. So
which would still be GWSN.
Yeah, GWSN.
Which would be confusing. Sonyeon instead of Sonyo.
Yeah.
Boys in the Park.
Cooper said, this is the weirdest track on the album, has a light dubstep to it, which kind of turned me off, but the chorus is so upbeat and fun. Really enjoyed the bass in the song too. So pretty much all these songs I thought was freaking boring. Like Cooper just loved.
Cooper liked the ones we hated. And
yeah. But Cooper has weird freaking opinions anyway, so.
He worked on Airplane.
Yep.
So.
Which is like which is probably like one of the god tier like freaking A.C.E album tracks. So moving on, we're on to Dance for Two, which is their sort of like acoustic like ballady type song. But I like this because like one, it's just again kind of pulling on one-on-one influences and more of a vocal showcase as well. There's a really cool like electric guitar part that they pull in towards the end too, which I really like. So yeah, again, it's a song that I liked a lot more, mostly just because again, the more they showcase the vocals, I feel like the better the song quality ends up being. So yeah, this was way better than the last two songs for me.
Yeah, for me, it's a ballad.
It's a ballad.
It's a ballad. I thought I did like the electric guitar part you talked about, but overall, I felt like the vocals were fine, the production was fine, but nothing really blew me away. And I thought for the rappers, the second rapper did a good job matching the sentimental tone, but something about the first rapper's like tone was a little too rough in my opinion for the type of song that they were going for. But that was just something weird I noticed.
Cooper enjoyed it. He said, fine acoustic closer, enjoyed the vocals and production here for the most part. Okay, so finally we agree on something. And closing out this album, possibly the most controversial song in all of K-pop, apparently, Hollywood. So for those that don't know the backstory behind Hollywood, when Brand New sent their trainees to Produce 101 Season 2, when they did their first evaluations, this was the song that they showcased for the trainers, and they made such a big deal about, oh my god, they self-produced their own song for Produce 101. And
back then it was unheard of for
groups it's literally unheard of. Yeah,
very few groups did it.
Doing original songs.
Now it's a little bit more common.
Now it's just a thing where everyone's trying to be the next like Brand New essentially, like we saw in Produce X101.
Yeah, it was like back then it was like 17 was like the only people self-producing stuff. I feel like
so it seems like most people like really hate this song, but I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I maybe it's just because I've had experience. Like I've heard this song for like the past 2 years already, or just like snippets of it, so it's not as abhorrent or as jarring to me. But I mean, I like this song. I really don't know how else to defend this song other than I like it as a sucker for like really.
I mean,
I like these. Like,
I like
Fast
plenty
and
of songs that lots of people think are trash. So
yeah, I mean, like. And I hate a lot of songs, or I think a lot of songs are trash that a lot of people like. So just go figure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Spoilers. People have differing opinions.
Yeah, basically. So
music subjective.
Subjective. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's good. In all honesty, I think it's a good song because mostly. Between this and Absolute, I don't know which would do better in terms of that, like Fast and Furious, like Middle Eastern type hype boy group type song. But I mean, I overall, I think I'm just glad to see it like finally see the light of day, or just that they actually like. It's a song that was in like you heard all of like 2 minutes of, like 1 or 2 minutes of on Produce 101, and they end up like releasing the song on its own. Like I remember like Cheetah, like when she was talking, she even referenced Welcome to My Hollywood on the show. Like she's like, she was talking about like how like impressive that is that they did all that stuff. So it's a song that carries some importance still. So I feel like it deserves some recognition for that. Nate, what were your thoughts? I want to see if you.
I'm on the side that hates it. I didn't like it in P101. I don't like it now. I think it's Absolute. It's super generic like Absolute, but on even a worse level, because it just in the chorus, the "Who am I" part sounds so lifeless, and it's supposed to be so hype. I just like it's just to me it shows like it's missing that like idol artist charm that like it shows that they were trainees. Like it doesn't have that level of production that I think a K-pop song needs, especially one that's supposed to be this hype. I think the rap is decent, but overall the song is just a pretty big miss. It's the same things I didn't like about Absolute, but on an even higher level because it's 2 years old, and they have 2 years of less of experience to take on when I assume because Daehwi worked on Absolute a lot too.
He worked on it all on his own. I'm pretty.
Okay, so Absolute is kind of like the sequel to the song. And
it's like
you can tell that
like Hollywood
he improved
2.0.
on it. He still didn't improve on it enough for me to enjoy it, but he definitely improved on it. I think this is a worse version of it.
Cooper is probably like he won't touch this song with a 10-foot pole for the most part. He said, why has this song returned to continue to curse my ears? Welcome to my Hollywood. Like, what does that even mean? It's so stupid and cringy, and I listen to K-pop every day. Oh, yeah, Cooper's not feeling this one at all.
Nope.
So, on to scores.
It'll be a rough one.
I'm probably going to be the highest one in all honesty. I'm probably going to
be.
Because for single, probably. I gave for Breathe, I gave it 3 points out of 3.5 just because
you were so close. Why didn't you just do it? It was 3 in a row. Just give it the full.
I really had. I felt so messy in that second half of the chorus. Like I was so ready to just love this song completely. But yeah, it's just that tiny part that bothers me a bit. But I mean, I agree with Cooper. Like Breathe is exactly what they should be doing from now on. In all honesty, it's Daehwi's. That's his wheelhouse. That's what he does so good at. So I feel like that's what they need to focus on. Album tracks, I am giving 2.5 or 3.5, which might be a bit generous, but I feel like in general, like let Daehwi like be in charge of everything, because I feel like the songs where they were giving off to other people or other producers just didn't work as well with them, and it might be that sort of thing where just too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, where like another producer gives them the song, and I guess just like someone with as much creative input as a Daehwi just wants to do it one way, and the producer might want to do it another way, so it doesn't mesh as well. Just different ideas or just different like approaches to the songs, so it just comes out like a hot mess. So yeah, I think they really should just pull the trigger, because this kid knows what he's doing when it comes to production. So just let him like oversee the whole thing. Like have him work with Reimer. He really needs to be like the creative visionary behind this whole group. 2 out of 3 for concept. Again, just that's mostly just on the choreography and like the outfits. Like this music video just did absolutely nothing in terms of like anything interesting, other than when it was just like, ooh, they're dancing again. That's basically like all I really got out of the music video. So that is a total of 7.5 out of 10, which is still a good score for me technically. I mean, definitely like not as like outstanding as everything else we reviewed, but I'd say
not what we would hope.
Yeah, not. Yeah, I'd say it's it's what we call top heavy album, where it's mostly just hard carried by the single, and then the album tracks are just meh. So what was your score?
So yeah, for me, I gave it a 4.5 out of 7 for music, and that was pretty much all Breathe and Shining Stars. Everything else was not good, in my opinion. So yeah, like you said, it was 100% hard carried by the single. That would be the majority of the points it got. And I gave it the same as you, a 2 out of 3 for concept, which for me it was between 1.5 and 2. I decided to be a little generous, because yeah, the choreography is really good. But yeah, like you said, same reasoning. Choreography hard carried that score. The music videos super generic otherwise.
So that's a total
of 6.5 out of 10, which for me is like a 3 for you.
Yeah, that's like a devastating score for an 8. So,
Cooper or me or Jacob?
You should do Jacob's first. Yeah.
Jacob said the first track on the album, Absolute, is overall decent, but it relies too heavily on tropes that countless other groups have already done before, mostly in the over-reliance on the industrial instrumentals that groups like Monsta X and Blackpink have been using for a long time. The rapping is pretty good though, all things aside. Then we go a sudden 180 into Shining Stars, which is a Chainsmokers style pop ballad. I won't knock points for the Chainsmokers style instrumentals because the drop is kind of interesting to me actually, but the production on the vocals or the vocal performances kind of fall flat on the track. Breathe was the first track on the album that I liked quite a bit. The future-based style instrumentals were nice. Friend Zone was pretty nice as well, but I feel like it bleeds into Breathe a little too much as far as my recollection of the two tracks goes. Light Me Up was probably the best song on the album, with a really nice build-up and drop in the chorus, super fun. Dance for Two was a generic boy group ballad that we've already heard 1,000 times before. Lastly, I feel like Hollywood is a better version of Absolute, that while it does suffer from the same cliches, ends up being much more interesting. Overall, this album is fine. The main problem it faces is that it relies way too heavily on all the cliches I've been calling out for the last year or so. The middle 3 tracks are definitely the highlight of the album, and the other 4 fall flat. And he gave it a 4 out of 7 for music and a 2 out of 3 for concept, so a 6.
Oof. He said it was an oof, so I mean, not surprising. So Cooper's overall closing thoughts are, overall I would say this is an okay first effort. There are some standout tracks here like Breathe and Friend Zone. I know Hollywood is an old song, so hopefully they never go near it again. Oh, you know they're going to perform it all the time. But still, it's on the album, so I got to count it. Youngmin, Woojin, and Daewoo have writing credits on every song here. Daewoo on production. They show promise for self-producing idols. 4 out of 7 for music, 2.5 out of 3 for concept, for a 6.5 out of 10. So yes, I think 6.5 ends up being the average score that we total score for this.
Yeah, it would be 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, and you give it a what, 7 or 7.5?
7.5.
So a 7. So yeah, it would round
down to
a 6.5.
I mean, that's not too bad of a first effort, and I feel it's mostly they just got to do better with album tracks, because I feel like they do have something here, and honesty,
the single, we all like the single a lot, so I think fortunate for them, most K-pop fans don't listen to album tracks.
But I mean, so everyone that knows this group is probably gonna know what Hollywood is already. So
yeah, but they're probably just gonna blindly like it anyway. So it doesn't matter.
100%.
They're gonna be me.
They're
101 branch 101 fans that just like everything.
One thing I'll say though, I'll make this prediction. When we see AB6IX at KCON,
we're gonna see
New
them
York
live
2019. I think this is where we're gonna get our NCT 127 "Come to Jesus" moment. Not for me, because I already like Hollywood. But I think when you and Jacob see Hollywood live, you think it's gonna be a fucking amazing song.
Oh, I think it'll be a good live song. But I just think overall, when I'm listening to it like on my own, I would just rather put on Monsta X songs because they do them much better.
Yeah, I guess, but that's for later. We'll find out. So, what are your thoughts on AB6IX's debut? Are you going to follow them like you followed 101 if you're a big 101 fan? Did you like Breathe? Do you think Hollywood should get launched into the surface of the sun? I don't think... Cooper does. Cooper definitely does. But I mean, what were your favorite songs? What were your favorite album tracks? Let us know.
Yep. So yeah, that's it for episode 122. If you enjoyed any of our reviews or our Pristin / hatred on Pledis discussion, which honestly wasn't as much hatred as I thought we would have. We were pretty fair.
I went through the anger phase yesterday, so.
Well, yeah, I went through the anger phase a year ago, so but yeah, if you enjoyed listening, please check us out. Review us on iTunes if you can. Check us out on all of our we do audio versions if you don't want to watch on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube and you'd rather just listen to it in the car or at work or whatever, we are on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and then just random other things, because Stitcher like broadcasts to the basically there's like 8 billion random unknown podcast apps that just rip off from Stitcher's feed.
Yeah,
if you're on Stitcher, you just end up on like a billion different services.
But I mean, it definitely helps. It definitely helps, because I feel like our audio numbers are really strong. Like,
our audio numbers.
There's like 100 or 200 people that listen to every new episodes every day. So.
Yep.
We don't forget about you people. Like I know we focus a lot on the YouTube, but yeah, our audio listeners are definitely a really big part of us, our fan base.
If you want to help us grow that, review us on iTunes. And then I don't think you can review on Spotify.
No, you can't. You can follow us on Spotify. Just
you can
so
just
you
follow.
Get,
okay.
I think
us on Spotify.
It'll like notify you or whatever. Maybe if like new episodes come out, or just whatever we're up to. I guess.
Yeah, and then subscribe to us on YouTube. If you haven't already, like the videos, comment your thoughts on the albums or the discussion we had. And, of course, join Discord. It's the best way to contact us. We're there hanging out all the time, and there's a nice, small little community of people that hang out there all day, every day, talking about K-pop and random other things. So come join that if you need a nice little community to chat about all things K-pop.
We don't bite, I promise. Well, I don't know about like maybe Baron will bite.
Egg
He's
does.
a snake.
Egg does. Baron's a snake, so I mean, like,
he's gonna bite.
That's par for the course.
As snakes do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for episode 122. We have any closing things? Check out ProduceCast episode 11. We talked about the first 2.5 episodes of the new season of Produce 101, Produce X 101. So we'll be doing that in the next couple months as the show concludes. Every 2.5 to 3 episodes we'll put out a new Produce Cast discussing basically at this point every new elimination.
Every time we have to say goodbye to people, unfortunately.
We'll put out a new episode after we have the time. It'll be a week or so after that elimination, because we need time for subs to come out. We need to watch all the episodes. We need to
I wrote like freaking 16 pages of notes for Produce Cast, and that's like I watched like 5 straight hours. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, so it takes a little bit of time. So please be patient. But yeah, if you're a fan of Produce, definitely check that out. And that's it. Thank you, and good night.
Fuck Pledis.
Throbbingly fuck Pledis.
No, don't say that.
It got sexual there.
I think it's an amazing track, just too similar to like what we've gotten. I think like with something new, I think that was definitely the right direction as far as like finding some new sounds that were like nice and fresh, but still within her own like wheelhouse. Yeah. Also the MV, I thought it was really cool, and I thought the